My name is Adriana, and I am a nomad. Being a nomad is many times just waiting for our next meal and enjoying nature in the meantime. It is quite relaxing, so let's go float for a little while. Hi! After my last video where I showed you how my flight went to my country and back, and I showed you some of the buildings in downtown Montevideo, which is the capital city of the country, I was going to go to another city that is about 80 miles away from the capital city. And it is kind of, you're going to hear mentions to either one or two cities that out there, because Maldonado is the name of the capital of that department of the country. It's kind of a province. So the name of the capital is Maldonado. But there is a touristic place that has been compared many times to the south of France, to those towns in the south of France, and the name is Punta del Este, which means the point that sits at the east of that other place. So Maldonado and Punta del Este are very close together, and when they started growing, expanding, they actually mixed. So sometimes you are in Maldonado and sometimes you're in Punta del Este, and you don't really know exactly where you are, but you may be somewhere in between, in that twilight area that comprises where the two cities meet. They have grown together for years, so it's logical that you can still notice the differences, because in Maldonado is where all the people who work in Punta del Este live, and in Punta del Este is where the tourists and the people with a lot of money live. So in Punta del Este you have these big mansions and super refined buildings, modern buildings, but I mean inside they are really luxurious in many cases, and many famous people have had property there, like from Onassis and Jackie Kennedy, who used to come there. They had a penthouse in one of those buildings, which is now a very old building, of course. To even the Trumps, they have a hotel there that is not open yet, but they built a big building there. I think it is one building or three buildings, I'm not sure. But yes, you understand whether you are in Maldonado or Punta del Este, because the buildings are slightly different. So Maldonado is the regular thing, Punta del Este is the very expensive thing. The season, the high season, is usually December, January, and February, with January being the month when people spend the most money, just because the people with the most money prefer to be there in January. Therefore, all the prices are cranked up during that month. It is always expensive, but in January, it's impossible to go there. And just so you have an idea, when I was still living in Uruguay, I don't know about that today. I don't know. I didn't do that research. But when I was living there, people would rent a big mansion for the month of January to receive their friends and have their parties and everything. And they would pay, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000 a month for those mansions or more. Many people, many rich people from Brazil and Argentina come in January and they rent out those houses. And with that money, of course, the owners of the house, they can pay their taxes and maintenance for the whole year, because that is the deal. I mean, they are not there in January, but they can have a very nice house almost cost-free for the rest of the year if they rent it just in January. So if you go there, try not to go in January unless you want to go there to see what it is and see the Lamborghinis and all those cars going around, because it gets really fancy very quickly and very expensive. But then all the other months, it's just beautiful. To me, March is my favorite month to be there because it is not extremely hot. The expensive prices went down, that kind of thing. So March is my favorite. October is a very good one because it's kind of similar. But yeah, that is the big difference between Maldonado and Punta del Este. They are the same thing because they grew together, but you will spend more money in Punta del Este than in Maldonado. So now you know, in case someday you want to go there. So as I told you, I first went to Montevideo and stayed 2 days there to recover from the flight. And then I drove to Maldonado with my friends Sara and Graciela to an Airbnb that I rented. I rented this Airbnb for 10 days, and of course I looked for the cheapest thing I could find, and it was a very good deal. It was an old house, older construction, with a cute little fireplace, wood-burning fireplace made of metal, 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a nice patio in the back with a barbecue place, a grill, and lots of sitting. That is what sold me. There were sofas, there were chairs, there were small armchairs. I wanted a lot of sitting, so when everybody got together, we could all enjoy meals together or whatever. So that was the priority. And I found this house that was very cheap, very old. Yeah, we can live with that. The kitchen was very simple. It was perfect for our needs. We were not going to spend time in the house. We were going to be going around seeing places. So it was just perfect. And the people were very nice to us. Excellent hosts. We didn't have any problem with that. The kids could actually spend a night with grandma, and of course they brought their PlayStation or whatever thingy they use these days, and they were playing their games. And we had empanadas made by their mother, my daughter, who made amazing empanadas for us. She makes weird mixtures that are not the classical thing you get out there when you buy empanadas, but they were delightful. There was one of them made with squash and I don't remember what, and the other one had carrots and I don't know what. They were absolutely delicious. They were mostly vegetarian, but they were delicious. So we had a great time in that house.
Rock and roll.
Ah, está. Sí, siempre estuvo conectada esta.
And then, of course, we started going places because there are so many beautiful things to be seen in Punta del Este and Maldonado. So we went out immediately. After I mean, having the kids running around the house and driving us crazy, we went for sightseeing, you may say, and great food. So one of the first things that called my attention is that the city of Maldonado, where the government of the region sits, is really invested in trying to educate tourists as what the the traffic laws are, to make it safer. And those people are so friendly. They walk the streets, they help you with touristic information, they just smile at you, and they help you find the place you want to go to. Shout out to the municipality of Maldonado for having those great people out in the streets helping you. Of course, if you break the law, you will have a fine, but that is not the first thing they do. They're just there to educate and help. I found it beautiful. So thank you very much to the inspectors that work so hard for everybody. When you first go from Maldonado to Punta del Este, you have to go to the harbor first, because it is the heart and the spirit of the place. The ocean surrounds you, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I didn't have time to actually swim in the ocean, but it is beautiful, and there are no sharks, which is a plus. Jellyfish, some only in February that I know of. Occasionally you may see a whale far out there, occasionally. But the harbor is where all the people with a lot of money have their yachts. When I was there, I mean, the big ones were not there. It was just the regular ones. But you can walk along the piers, and it's just beautiful because the seagulls and the sea lions and the seals, they're out there, and because the fishermen come back with the catch of the day and they clean them there. I mean, all these little animals are there waiting for all the discarded pieces, like the guts and the skins and everything, to be thrown into the ocean. So they have a feast, and you can buy freshest fish for your lunch. You take it home and you make it very quickly, and it's the freshest thing you can get. Different types of fish, just ocean fish. To me, it's one of the tastiest types of fish you can get. Different types, but it is delicious. Walking down the piers, there is this one pier where they install these beautiful lights and It's very like sculptures, and it's really nice and I don't know, good looking. But we discovered with the kids that walking down that pier is a whole adventure on its own, because the seagulls are perched on those arms of the lights, and seagulls, they don't tell you, hey, careful, I'm going to go number 2. They just go number 2 or number 1. I don't know what they do, but you are walking under those arms. So we developed a strategy. We would take a look at the floor. If it was really dirty, for some reason we knew there were more seagulls shooting in that direction. So we would go like trying to avoid the seagulls' baptisms. So yay, we made it one way and the other spotless. But they tried very hard. They didn't get us. Another place we wanted to visit was the caves. It was just a big cave that exists in the rock at this place by the beach. In the 70s, I remember I went there to dance because it was a disco. And so you would go in the cave and there was the music and the lights and the whole thing. It was a disco by the sea. And right now they don't allow you to go in because probably it doesn't, I don't know if it is not well maintained or it is not safe. But it was a pleasure to walk the beach towards that.
Precisei sair pra poder voltar, ver o tempo bem fechado, pra ver o dia clarear, pra ver o céu no azul do mar. Precisei perder pra poder ganhar muito tempo bem calado, pra que eu conseguisse falar coisas que alguém vai escutar. Você verá que um sorriso e uma companhia estão fora dos seus requisitos. Um dia você vai olhar pra trás e ver, preciso ter pouco pra saber quando é demais.
Muchísimas gracias, cuídate.
Não vai ter carnaval até que enfim descanso pra não passar.
Lunchtime was approaching, and we wanted to visit this particular museum, hotel, restaurant that was right there on that rock. So we went there next. The person who built this beautiful building, he passed away already. His name is Carlos Páez Vilaró, an artist that from a very early age started going around the world, practicing his art, painting, sculpture, all those things, and having conversations and exchanges with other artists his age or older that he connected with, like Picasso. I mean, it's amazing. He was able to meet with those artists that influenced him. He gave them something of his own. He had a very beautiful life in many ways. One day he chose that particular area to build a house. And as an artist, he didn't want to have straight lines. He didn't want to have any straight lines. And he says, or he said, I ask architecture forgiveness for rebelling against straight lines. So he started building his house there, and there were many fishermen in that area that were his friends and that would help him put bricks on top of bricks. And so he would invite them in, he would cook for them, they would have these conversations, probably had wine together, and the fishermen would help him. And that house started growing like, I don't know, like coral in the ocean. The house just started growing and expanding in the same spirit. Never a straight line, always the white stone, we could say, always that white paint on top, and always overlooking the sea. So it was perfect because he was able to build it climbing up the hill. And nowadays, the house has, part of the house is a hotel, part of it is a restaurant, and part of it is a museum that shows many of his works. And I don't know, I always loved going there. I met him in person 25 years ago or so. I was working for a German company, and those Germans, they wanted a painting from him, so I had to go there and facilitate the exchange. And the conversations with him were really beautiful. He was a very nice soul. His son was in the plane, and you maybe remember this. There was a plane that crashed in the Andes in South America with a rugby team on board, and they were lost for a little bit over 2 months, and they finally found them, not all of them, but some, and his son was one of those. This artist, Carlos Páez Vilaró, he never lost hope that one day he was going to find his son and that he was going to be alive. He knew in his soul that his son had to be alive. So by the time those kids were actually rescued, he was the last one to learn that his son was there and alive, because he had hired a crews of people on jeeps and horses and everything to comb all those mountains there. And we're talking about very high mountains, very unforgiving terrain. So he was out there, nobody knew exactly where he was. It was only when he came back that he had the news of his son being alive. Sorry. I get emotional every time when I tell this story. He knew it. His son was alive. He is still alive. He's a doctor. But yeah, that was a beautiful story. His house was a beautiful house with beautiful stories. When he was younger, he actually lived in Africa for some time, and he became a honorary chief of a tribe. I don't know. He had an amazing life, and going to his house, to the restaurant, to have some lunch there was, of course, something I needed to do. And I will show you a picture of my friend Sarah sitting by the ocean, totally overwhelmed by the beauty of that place. My friend comes from a very artistic community, so being in theater and everything, she was sitting there and she couldn't believe she was there. An amazing place.
supposed to do now that it's over? Is there someplace I can trade in all this lovesick information now that it's over? And now that it's through, tell me what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? The sheepish way you love that I can never get enough. The things I think about when I find myself awake at night. Should I throw them all away, save them for the holiday? You go home and you get drunk, figure out that you fucked up. What am I supposed to do now that it's over? Is there someplace I can trade in all this love?
While in Maldonado, we also visited El Jabel, which is a huge park for kids to play. They have been updating that too, and it looks fantastic. And it's all surrounded by eucalyptus trees, so it smells good. The air is healthy for you because it smells very good. And there is the 3 tallest slides I have ever seen in a park. The kids have to run up a hill in order to be able to use the slides down. They're huge. I was surprised. The design was just perfect. And then we took a break and we had tortas fritas and pasteles de membrillo, which is, I think it is kind of fry bread. It's delicious. And quince pies. Quince is very similar to an apple. It's just more tart and hard than an apple, so it's not nice to eat it. So it's always cooked, and they make these jam in a block or so. It's red. It's delicious. So we had some quince pies and fried bread, if that is the name in English. We call it tortas fritas. And sometimes things don't go your way. Sometimes things don't go well. And sometimes that turns to be a blessing in disguise. In the afternoon, we wanted to go to Lomas de la Ballena, which is a place up on the hills where there is a hotel where I have been several times before for tea in the afternoon. We do have tea in the afternoon in my country. So those cute little scones and things, they come out at about 5 p.m. or so we can have tea. And I wanted to take my friends to Lomas de la Ballena, but it was closed. Not only because the season was not very good, COVID took a toll on many businesses. So we were up there and I was so heartbroken we couldn't go to this place that is absolutely incredible. Not only their tea house is beautiful, the views from up there of the whole place are amazing. So we drove down the mountain. We stopped for a minute on an anti-gravity spot where you park your car, you put it in neutral, and you take your foot out of the brake, and the car goes uphill. So we stopped for a moment to play a little bit with that. Everybody does. And I will tell you the secret, what really happens to that place, in the description of this video. So please go to the description to understand why the car goes uphill. It's quite mind-blowing when you are there. The video doesn't show it very well, but I will tell you what it is. Because it was tea time, I thought of another place that I also like a lot, and it's called L'Auberge. It's a hotel that has been in Punta del Este forever. It's a beautiful Tudor style building, super elegant, good quality hotel. But they also have beautiful greenery, beautiful huge park around them, very well established park with a swimming pool and a magnificent tea house on one side of the building with a huge stone hearth with a creepy Victorian photo on top of the mantle. You have some cappuccinos and herbal teas and some scones and toast with homemade marmalade. It was just delightful. And then we had to keep going because we had to go have dinner with my daughter. So after tea, you still have dinner. That is why we have dinner late, at about 8 or 9 p.m. Because at 5, we have a little snack. We have tea. That's a must when you are there. Just know that. And talking about a blessing in disguise, we were on our way to a bridge that is quite famous because it was funny. It was half built for, I don't know, more than 10 years. For some reason, they never agreed how to build it, and it was just sitting there unfinished. But recently, they did finish it. They changed the design. They made it absolutely gorgeous. So we were on our way to drive the bridge because I wanted to really drive the bridge. And we found this floating hotel. I didn't know about it. Someone came up with the idea of creating this floating hotel. It's just beautiful. Next time I go to my country, I will make sure I am going to spend a couple of nights in that floating hotel because it sounds like paradise on earth. The beach is gorgeous. There is a little lagoon close to the beach, and the hotel is floating on the lagoon. It's just amazing, mind-blowing. I didn't have time this time. Next time, you know where I'm going to be. I hope you like this video. If so, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos. Hit the bell. And I am going to leave you with the images of this particular bird. The name of this bird, I don't have references about whether this bird exists in any other part of the world, but it's a bird that is absolutely fascinating. The name is TERO. That's the name, TERO. It's a funny bird that lays eggs on the grass somewhere, and then when they see you approaching, they quickly move away from the nest and they leave the nest alone. Because the little birdies, the babies, when they notice they are alone, they just stay put. So even if you walk by them, you don't see them because they look like teeny little stones. I mean, they just stay there, they don't move. And the mother and the father, because they work together for those kids, they move away and they start calling you from out there. They call you, so you go to them and you pay attention to them and you walk away from where the nest really is. I think it is so clever. The good thing is, many people who are mostly people who work in the countryside, sometimes they find the little ones, and if you find a little one and you feed them and you help them grow, they become attached to you and your house, and they don't allow anybody to approach your house. So they're actually more effective than guard dogs. So it's amazing. It's just amazing. I love teros. So I am going to leave you with a tero video. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great week. I'll show you more things on the next video. Thank you.
Sua mãe me ligou contando uma história que a chuva levou todo equipamento, só deixou as roupas do varal, os limão do quintal e a pasta impermeável com os documentos. Eu disse a filha, como é que vai ser? Ela disse, não sei o que fazer. Vem pra cá, bota ela no avião, que eu durmo no chão. Fica calma, não tem pressa, tudo vai se resolver. Quando eu vi no aeroporto, no seu rosto o desgosto. Será que é pra mim? Não vou me precipitar. Paciência é uma ciência, é o tempo. Vou descobrir. Acordou de manhã, sentou-se na mesa, olhou para mim com a cara surpresa. E o café? Tá saindo, madame, com pãozinho e salame. Amanhã você se serve, pega o que quiser. A noite caiu e tomando meu vinho, fez do meu ouvido um grande pinico. É um pajé, uma longa lição sobre democracia. Enquanto isso eu pensava, por que não divide a pia? Quando eu vi no aeroporto, no seu rosto um desgosto. Será que é pra mim?